2018 Depth Chart Tackles 1. Charles LenoUsage, 16 games, 99.3% of offensive snaps. 2019 status, $8.9 million cap hit. Leno's steady improvement since being picked in the 7th round of Phil Emery's final draft continued in 2018, with the 27-year-old allowing 32 pressures on 634 pass-blocking snaps, roughly in line with pressure rates of veterans like the Rams' Andrew Whitworth and the Giants' Nate Solder. Leno was solid as a run blocker, though as is the case with the rest of the line, and the coaching staff, and the running back unit, there's room for improvement. His durability is important, too. The only snaps he missed in 2018 were in that season-ending win over the Minnesota Vikings, when Matt Nagy pulled a number of starters in the fourth quarter. The last time Leno didn't play 100% of his team's offense snaps in a game previous was Week 3 of the 2015 season. Meanwhile, Leno's 2019 cap hit ranks 20th among left tackles, per Spotrac. The contract extension he signed prior to the 2017 season looked even better in 2018, as Leno continued to build on the upside he showed early in his career. 2. Bobby Massey usage, 16 games, 99.5% of offensive snaps. 2019 status, $3.8 million cap hit. Only 3 tackles with over 1,000 snaps allowed fewer pressures than Massey, those being the Chiefs' Mitchell Schwartz, the Seahawks' Dwayne Brown and the Ravens' Ronnie Stanley. That's good company in which to be. Additionally, only 4 tackles with over 1,000 snaps committed fewer penalties than Massey's 4, and he allowed just 1 sack, 2 hits and 23 pressures, per Pro Football Focus. With that backdrop, Ryan Pace's move to sign Massey to a contract extension looks smart, especially given how his contract is structured, keeping his cap hit low in 2019. With Leno and Massey together again, the Bears can move forward with confidence. Their tackles will keep Mitch Trubisky upright again this season. 3. Bradley LenoUsage, 16 games, 4.7% of offensive snaps, 17.7% of special teams snaps. 2019 status, $1.8 million cap hit. Will fits well as a swing tackle who was used in a few different ways last year, as a 6th offensive lineman, 30 snaps, one of which was on Santos Slay, as a fullback, 8 snaps, all in a Week 17 against the Vikings, and in the slot, 1 snap. The question for Pace, though, do all those traits make him worth keeping in the face of a potential $1.5 million in cap savings by cutting him? The answer is probably yes. Will played well in 2017 as both a guard and a tackle, and his athleticism does allow Nagy to do some outside-the-box things with him. But without much cap space available, perhaps Pace will roll the dice with an unproven backup for cheap. 4. Rashad Coward usage, 0 games. 2019 status, exclusive rights. Free agent Coward had a trial by fire in 2018, when he had to learn how to play right tackle while largely lining up against Khalil Mack during midweek practices at Hollis Hall. He's an intriguing prospect, one the Bears weren't willing to risk losing by trying to sneak him onto the practice squad last year. Depending on the kind of growth he showed under the tutelage of Harry Hiestand, he could be back in a reserve role in 2019. 5. Cornelius LenoUsage with New Orleans Saints, 1 game, 5% of offensive snaps. 2019 status, reserve, future contract. Lucas is a 5-year veteran who's appeared in 37 games in his career, but only played in once in each of the last 2 seasons. Lone starts with the Rams in 2017 and Saints in 2018. If the Bears were to part with Sewell, he'd have an opportunity to compete to be the team's swing tackle this year. 6. Dejon LenoUsage, practice squad. 2019 status, reserve, future contract. Allen spent 2018 on the Bears practice squad, and the 6'3", 290-pound Hawaii alum will have a shot at sticking around as a practice squad player again in 2019. Guards 1. James Daniels usage, 16 games, 70.9% of offensive snaps. 2019 status, $1,579,581 cap hit. Daniels steadily improved throughout his rookie season, and acquitted himself well as the Bears muted the impact Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald had on their 15-6 win over the Rams in December. His future looks bright as the Bears seem to move forward with Cody Whitehair as their center and Daniels locked in at left guard. "We like where he's headed," offensive coordinator Mark Helfrich said last month. "He's a guy that again is kind of a quietly confident. He's naturally a quiet guy, and the more you're around him, I think he just has that calmness. We believe in him. It's not a situation where we are going, hey, we have to turn this way or that way or the other. He's going to have some tough matchups and we expect him to win them, too." Kyle Long usage, 8 games, 47.5% of offensive snaps 2019 status, $8.5 million cap hit. Long seems like a candidate to have his contract restructured, as the Bears value his presence but also may not be keen on committing $8.5 million to a guard, and a guard who hasn't played a full season since 2015. The Bears declined to pick up Josh Sitton's $8 million option a year ago, opting to replace him with a combination of Eric Kush and James Daniels. When healthy, Long is critical to the Bears' success running the ball. "The good news is," he said on locker cleanout day, "he feels confident in his health. No knives this offseason," he quipped. "It's gonna be pretty awesome." Jettisoning Long, too, would leave a significant hole in the right side of an offensive line that otherwise is returning all of its starters from 2018. How the Bears approach Long in the coming weeks and months will be an important storyline to follow. 3. Brian LenoUsage, 10 games, 49.6% of offensive snaps, 10.1% of special teams snaps 2019 status, unrestricted free agent. Witzman lent a steady hand in place of Long from weeks 8 to 16, allowing only 16 pressures and 306 pass blocking snaps, per Pro Football Focus. He didn't allow a pressure against the Rams in Week 14, and the Bears' offensive line didn't fall apart after he swapped in for the injured Long. He played in all 5 of the Bears' games in December, which represented Jordan Howard's best stretch of the season, too. The Bears could do worse with a backup guard. 4. Eric Kush usage, 15 games, 32% of offensive snaps, 14.9% of special teams snaps 2019 status, unrestricted free agent. Kush began the season as the team's starting left guard and struggled to run block consistently. He began rotating with Daniels in Week 4, then rotated with Witzman in Week 9 and didn't play an offensive snap after that. Based on that lack of usage, the Bears will likely move on from him this offseason. 5. Willie Beavers usage, practice squad 2019 status, reserve, future contract. Beavers, a former 4th-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings in 2016, has bounced around practice squads over the last 3 years, including the Bears in 2018. Centers 1. Cody Whitehair usage, 16 games, 100% of offensive snaps 2019 status, $1,344,180 cap hit. The Bears will need to work out an extension for Whitehair, who played every single one of the Bears' offensive snaps in 2018 and earned a trip to Orlando as a Pro Bowl alternate. His steady presence, ability to read opposing defenses and good relationship with Trubisky is important for the Bears' offense. What Whitehair's extension could look like will be interesting to see, presuming he indeed signs one sometime between the start of training camp and the beginning of the season. Perhaps something similar, and a little richer, than the 3-year, $27 million extension signed by Seahawks center Justin Britt, a 2014 second-round pick, will be the starting point. 2. James Daniels usage, 0 snaps at center. Daniels played 122 snaps at center during the preseason but didn't play at all there during the regular season. He'll likely remain the team's backup center going forward, though. Level of need, 1 to 11, with 11 being the highest. 5. Teams can always use quality offensive line depth, and the Bears will need to address their interior reserves, whether that means bringing back Witzman or looking elsewhere. It wouldn't be surprising to see the Bears draft an offensive lineman, as Pace has done every year as the team's GM, Hronis Grasu and Teo Fabuluya in 2015, Whitehair in 2016, Jordan Morgan in 2017 and Daniels in 2018. Level of need, 1 to 11, with 11 being the highest. 5 teams can always use quality offensive line depth, and the Bears will need to address their interior reserves, whether that means bringing back Witzman or looking elsewhere. It wouldn't be surprising to see the Bears draft an offensive lineman, as Pace has done every year as the team's GM. Hronis Grasu and Teo Fabuluya in 2015, Whitehair in 2016, Jordan Morgan in 2017 and Daniels in 2018. Previous needs.